The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. That's the opening line from the third Chinese Patriarch of Zen. The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. That reminds us of a line from the Tao Te Ching. Stand in the center of the circle. What does this mean? For those who have no preferences. What does stand in the center of the circle mean? Such powerful lines. That's just one line from the third Chinese Patriarch. I encourage you all to go read it. I'm going to make a video of myself reading it if you're interested, if you want to listen to it. The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. We must learn to stand in the center of the circle. We must shed all our opinions and our biases and our judgments. These are all traps of the mind. These are all traps of duality, right? We're getting caught in love and hate. It's creating more separateness. It's creating more division. And we want to go toward the oneness. We want to go toward the one with the all, because there is no separateness. Everything is one. So that's what we want to go toward. We want to go toward not having opinions about anything. Just being the observer, standing in the center of the circle. Having no preferences, being the observer, and simply seeing everything as one. Or as I like to say, one, it's all God's love. Everything is one. There is no good or bad. Like the Tao Te Ching says, there is no good or bad. If you look at something that's ugly and looking at something that's pretty, that's separateness. There is no separateness. That's a trap. There is no ugly. There is no pretty. There is no failure and success. We talked about that in another video. There really is no failure or success, right? That's a trap. Whether you go up the ladder or down the ladder, your position is shaky. But if you stand with your 2 feet on the ground, you will have your balance, right? So how do we do this? We stay present. And by staying present, by staying absolutely present, we gradually work ourselves into non-judgment. It's hard not to judge. We're programmed to judge everything. We judge everything in this world, everyone and everything. And we are programmed through the entertainment industry on how to think and how things should be. When we get triggered by things or a person or a place or a thing or a situation, it's because we've been programmed to have a model of how things should be, when there is no model of how things should be. Things shouldn't be any way. We need to get out of the habit. It's hard. Sorry, my head's itching a little bit. Things shouldn't be any way. That's a trap. That's going to prevent us from accepting things how they are. Things are just how they are, and that's it. They're not supposed to be any way. That person you're looking at, if you're triggered by the way they're dressed or the way they're acting or the way they're talking or they think this way or that way, that's based on a false model that you've been given. Because they're not supposed to be anyway. They're exactly how they're supposed to be. Everything's exactly how it's supposed to be. Everything happens in divine timing. Everything's perfect. So when we get triggered by a person, place, or thing, or whatever it may be, that's just something we need to look at inside of ourselves. That's when we have an emotional reaction. That's not the person, place, or thing's issue. That's our issue, right? So we have to learn to stand in the center of the circle and have no opinions and be one with all, and realize that everything is just basically on the scale of the one. There is no good or bad. There's no positive or negative. It's all one. It's all on the same scale. We need to step back from having emotional reactions to it, which is very hard because we're all laden with emotional traumas that we've been programmed with since birth on purpose. And then they use the food systems to suppress our consciousness and us physically. We look around and everyone is basically trapped in the toxic food program. That's on purpose. I made a video about that recently. But how do we get out of this? How do we get out of this, the separateness, the division? We have to do the work ourselves. The greatest way we can help free others is by freeing ourselves, right? We must do the work to free ourselves by staying present, by stepping into the center of the circle. Another great line from the Tao Te Ching is do your work and step back. We shouldn't be doing the work with an expectation of a result. Hey, guess what? If we take away all expectations, we'll never be disappointed. Because sometimes we get attached to expectations, and then when they don't go our way, that's another way we're programmed to want a certain model of things, but there is no model of things. Having any model of anything is a lie. It's a trap. Because it is what it is. Everything is exactly how it's supposed to be. People chase money. Why you chase it? When you chase money, your heart will never be full. Money's a trap. It's just a control system. Yes, you need it in some extent to this ways, but I don't really think about money. A lot of people get stuck on money. You don't need to think about it. The divine, if you stay present and keep working on purification, it'll work itself out. Yes, you may be doing jobs that may not align with your state of consciousness, but guess what? Everything's a lesson. You better believe it. If you're in a job that you don't think is right, you got to work on accepting what is. You got to look at take everything as a lesson. That's what I'm doing. Think about this. I'm mainly fruitarian, right? Working on being 100% fruitarian. I eat almost all fruits, a little bit of vegetables, and once in a while, I slip up and I'll have some other stuff, but that's becoming less and less. So let's say, for argument's sake, I eat all fruits, and I've been delivering food. I've been delivering food, toxic food, part of the toxic food program, that I know that food is destroying people and depressing their consciousness. But I'm not part of that. See, I had to work on extricating myself from that. See, I have nothing to do with these people are going to eat what they're going to eat. You have to accept people where they are at their level of consciousness. That's all you can do, and you can't judge it. Again, everything's a lesson. I had a very difficult time reconciling the fact that I was going to be delivering toxic, acidic, detrimental food to people. But we have to accept and love everything, right? Everything is God's love. There is no, that's just part of what we were talking about before. There is no good or bad or high or low. Everything's on the same scale. You just got to accept everything as one. So it doesn't really matter. And it's a lesson in non-judgment and not having an opinion. No matter where anybody is at, everybody's equal. Everybody's the same. It's just a part of the same. We're all on the same ride. We're on just different parts of the ride. Some of us are on the top of the hill of the roller coaster, and some of us are on the bottom. And we're all on different parts. It's all the same wheel. You know what I mean? It's all connected in the middle, but we're all just different spokes. Lesson in non-judgment. How do we stop judging people? We got to practice remaining present in God's eternal love. Another great line from the third Chinese Patriarch of Zen. Stop talking and thinking, and there's nothing you will not be able to know. The mind can be a trap. The mind can be a great servant, but a poor master. So let's focus on purification and remaining present and allowing the divine to work through us. Because that's all we can do. Be the observer. You can do it. Be the observer. Remember, duality is just an illusion. Just observe. We don't need to have an opinion about anything. We don't need to interject. You don't have to say anything. Remember, no matter what you do, it's what you were supposed to do. It's what was meant to happen because it's happening. You can't do anything wrong because you're only acting from where you're able to act at, your level of consciousness and awareness. So anything you've done in the past, just forgive yourself. You had no choice. You were only acting based on your programming. Everything's fine. You guys are doing great. Keep working on yourself. Much love. Stay present.